August 1996, in Atlanta. 45,000 fans hold their breath as Michael Johnson, draped in gold spikes, waits for the gun. He is about to redefine what one lap can mean. Legends chase world records, and Johnson erased the margin of error entirely. But how did a disciplined method from Dallas create what some call the most efficient race ever run? And did the perfect 400-meter race truly happen that night? The night air in Atlanta hangs heavy, thick with anticipation. Stadium lights burn against the darkness, tracing the outline of 45,000 fans pressed into their seats. The noise is relentless, layers of cheers, nervous laughter, and the restless shuffling of feet. In the middle of it all, Michael Johnson stands alone, gold spikes glinting beneath him, head down, eyes set forward. The Olympic 400-meter final is seconds away. Every camera lens, every heart in the stadium locks onto lane 5. The pressure is not just about medals. Johnson is carrying the weight of a nation expecting perfection. The track is his stage, but there is no room for error tonight. The memory of past disappointments lingers, but his focus never wavers. He steps into the blocks, blocking out the chaos, tuning into the rhythm he has spent years perfecting. The starting pistol slices through the roar. Johnson explodes out, but not recklessly. His drive phase is measured, arms pumping with a precision that looks almost mechanical. By the first bend, the field is already stretched. Johnson's upright running form and short, rapid cadence set him apart. Each stride is calculated, no wasted motion, no excess. He hits the back straight, and the margin grows. The crowd senses it, something historic is unfolding. As Johnson powers through the final curve, the gap behind him widens, nearly a full second ahead of the world's best. He crosses the line in 43.49 seconds, shattering the Olympic record by nearly a second over his nearest rival. The gold spikes, the stadium, the moment, every detail signals a race run with almost surgical control. The question lingers, had anyone ever mastered the 400 meters so completely? Michael Johnson grew up in Dallas, Texas, the youngest of 5 children. His early years were shaped by a sense of order and quiet determination, more interested in discipline than showmanship. At Skyline High School, he ran track but did not stand out as a prodigy. It was not until college, under the guidance of coach Clyde Hart at Baylor University, that Johnson's talent sharpened into something extraordinary. Hart saw an athlete who did not fit the mold. No wild celebrations, no reckless starts, just a relentless focus on efficiency. Together, they built a philosophy around control and consistency. Hart's workouts favored steady progression, emphasizing even pacing and technical mastery over brute force. The turning point came in 1992. Johnson, already a world champion at 200 meters, arrived at the Barcelona Olympics as a favorite. Days before his event, he was struck by food poisoning. Weak and depleted, he failed to make the 200-meter final. That disappointment forced a reset. Johnson and Hart re-examined every detail of preparation, trading risk for reliability. Training became a study in precision, race workouts mimicking competition conditions, quality over quantity, always chasing the perfect execution. By 1993, Johnson was not only back, but better. He won his first world title at 400 meters, and anchored the U.S. relay team with a split of 42.94 seconds, the fastest ever recorded at the time. The lessons from Barcelona became the backbone of his approach, discipline, adaptability, and the belief that races are won not just with speed, but with control. This mindset would define his career, setting the stage for a new era in one-lap racing. Michael Johnson's 400-meter world record in Seville stands as a case study in human efficiency. The clock stopped at 43.18 seconds, but the real story is hidden in the numbers that built that time. His first 200 meters flashed by in 21.22 seconds, faster than most specialists run a single curve. Yet Johnson never looked rushed. His posture remained upright, shoulders steady, arms driving forward in compact arcs. Each stride landed beneath his center of mass, minimizing wasted motion. Where other sprinters might bounce or sway, Johnson moved forward like a metronome, his cadence consistent at nearly 4.5 steps per second. The second 200 meters told a subtler story. Instead of the dramatic slowdown that defines most 400-meter races, Johnson clocked 21.96 seconds, just 0.74 seconds slower than his first half. This gap, almost imperceptible at race speed, was less than half the typical fade seen in world-class finals. Analysts point to this split as the fingerprint of his genius, a controlled acceleration to race pace by 60 meters, then a relentless hold, never letting velocity slip away. Biomechanical studies drawn from frame-by-frame breakdowns highlight the technical edge. Johnson's ground contact time hovered around 1/10 of a second per step, with minimal vertical oscillation. His hip extension at toe-off approached a nearly perfect line, maximizing forward force. The result was not just speed, but a kind of mechanical harmony, every movement tuned to conserve energy for the final drive. The numbers from Seville are more than statistics. They are proof of a race run at the limits of human precision, where efficiency became the engine of history. Velocity preservation in the 400 meters is a rare feat, even among the world's best. In most championship finals, the clock tells a familiar story, explosive openers followed by a collapse in the final stretch. Elite runners often lose as much as half a second per 50 meters in the last 100. Michael Johnson's races rewrote those expectations. In Seville, his deceleration after 200 meters measured just 0.74 seconds, which was less than half the fade of his rivals. Frame-by-frame analysis from high-speed footage reveals a pattern. Johnson's stride frequency remains almost unchanged from start to finish. Where others falter, his ground contact time barely increases, and his posture, upright, balanced, efficient, never breaks down. This was not accidental. The logistics of Johnson's race plan were as precise as an engineer's blueprint. He accelerated to race pace by 60 meters, then locked into a rhythm designed to minimize energy loss. Every segment of the race became a production task: maintain cadence, control arm swing, keep the center of mass moving forward. Experts like biomechanist Peter Wayde point to Johnson's minimal vertical oscillation. His center of gravity barely rises or drops, saving precious energy over each stride. Interview sessions with coach Clyde Hart reinforce this narrative. Hart describes workouts focused on even pacing, teaching Johnson to treat each 50-meter segment as a separate assignment. The result is a race distribution template that left almost no room for error or waste. With less than 0.2 seconds slowdown per 50 meters in his world record, Johnson set a new standard for efficiency. This approach did not just win races, it redefined what was possible in one-lap sprinting, and it laid the groundwork for every legacy debate that followed. 4 Olympic gold medals, 8 World Championship titles. Michael Johnson's record in the 1990s reads like a checklist of track and field's highest honors. But behind the medal count stood a landscape of constant rivalry and relentless scrutiny. The era's most visible challenger was Butch Reynolds. He once held the world record, and he returned from a 2-year doping ban, determined to reclaim his crown. Their head-to-head battles drew headlines, but Johnson's response was always the same: precision, control, and another gold added to the tally. Throughout the decade, when the sport's reputation was under siege from doping scandals and aggressive media coverage, Johnson's name remained untouched. He raced in a climate where every performance was questioned, yet he delivered championship victories year after year. His dominance was not just about speed, it was about showing up, blocking out the noise, and winning when it mattered most. Wayde van Niekerk's 43.03 seconds at the 2016 Rio Olympics took the world record from Johnson after nearly 17 years. The debate over who set the greater standard still divides coaches and athletes. Van Niekerk's run from lane 8 was a marvel of raw speed and risk, but the distribution model he used traces directly to Johnson's blueprint: fast to race pace, then conserve, not collapse. Today, elite coaches teach the same principles Johnson mastered: upright posture, high cadence, and even splits. His influence is visible in training plans from Texas to South Africa. The question remains, is the greatest 400 meters performance ever the fastest, the most consistent, or the one that changed how everyone else runs? Johnson's legacy sits at the center of that debate. Today, Michael Johnson's 400-meter blueprint still shapes every contender's strategy, even as world records fall. Efficiency, once overlooked, now defines the gold standard. His legacy is not just in split times, but in how athletes chase perfection. The question of true dominance endures every time the stagger unwinds. Thanks for watching.